We had Belinda he was about to ask Belinda's question, and then they ran out of time. So I'm picking it up where we left off. I'm just going to read it. It's like a short paragraph. He says, "My mother passed away 3 days after my son was born. Before she passed, my mother visited me in the hospital, and I was able to get a photo of her holding my son. As he got older, he would stand in front of the photo I had of them. One day he pointed at my mother in the photo and he said, 'Blue light.' And I pointed at my mother and said, 'That was Nan.' And he said, 'Nan with the blue light.' My question is, would my mother have visited him, or would he have seen an angel? I'm wondering if it is possible for him to have formed a relationship with her through being able to see her." What are your thoughts about that?
I think it more than likely was probably an angel, especially if it was in the shape of an orb. Angels travel in orbs. Now, they
Okay.
travel many different ways, but it is very true. Even in photographs, that sometimes can capture orbs of light. Those are all angels in those orbs. It's just one of the ways they come from heaven. I have so many. I have photographs where it's a photograph, but if you touch it, the orb will move.
Wow. Really?
Yes, and it's blue, and they're blue. So he probably did. That could have actually been his own angel that he saw, and that showed up there. So that's probably, he was young, right, when he saw that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he saw the blue light, he was
Well,
young.
she said when he was older, but so it sounds like he was still a kid, but she didn't say
Yeah,
how much older. It reminds me of my son, when he would say he saw things. Now he would deny it to this day. He does deny it. But as about a 1 year old, 88, 89, 2 year old, he would say, we would be riding in the car and and this was one particular time I remember it, and it wasn't the only time, at night, and we'd say, "Do you see an angel?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Where?" And he go, "There, there." And he start pointing out. And we look outside. There wasn't specific lights or specific stars because it was in the city.
yes.
You couldn't see the stars, and there weren't specific lights. To this day, he says, "No, I don't think I saw an angel."
I
But
think he
what are your
did.
thoughts? You think he did?
I'm almost positive that he saw them. Children have, there's really not that, people want to have proof given to them,
Yeah.
or they just stop believing in things like that. When you're little, you will say the truth. When you're little and you don't know anybody, you're just going to say the truth. If you saw something, you say you saw it. And I know one of my grandsons sees things a lot, and I know he's actually seeing them. And so he's still young enough where he doesn't mind saying that. One of my other granddaughters, she doesn't live here, she used to hear angels talking all the time.
Wow.
And she doesn't talk about that right now, but I remember adamantly, even my one daughter calling me saying she's hearing voices. What is that? And I said, it was probably angels, because God had told me she would know angels, and she would be familiar with them, is what he said. And when she was a little baby, he said that. And that was evident in her life when she was little. But now that she's older, she's like 19 now, she doesn't say it anymore. So
Yeah.
I think the belief and the ability to believe is much stronger in children. And you're going to see that showing up in meetings. Some of the greatest miracles will probably be done by children one day because of that innocence and that belief they have in God. They haven't lost it, and some of them born now will never lose that ability to believe God. And entering into the days we're coming into, uh, there will be more and more of that happening. The veil in the spirit realm will get thinner, meaning we will begin to see our own angels eventually at some
Wow.
time. Well,
Wow, I get to see Stan. I told you I named my angel Stan. I said, until you tell me your name, you're Stan. Every once in a
he
while.
probably loves it. He
You
probably
know,
loves it that you gave him a nickname.
and I, by the way, it's true. Haven't you said this before that our angels tend to look like us? Like if I'm a bald guy, is my angel probably bald? Some people have said they look like us. What do you think?
Some do for certain reasons, and sometimes they will appear somewhere as you. And
So they can, oh,
yeah, they may have to. They may have to appear sometime as you for whatever reason God wants them to do that. Um, I don't know that any of mine have appeared as me. As me. I don't know if they
yeah,
want pink hair,
yeah.
but that is very true, and I've heard that happen so many times. But I do know that yes, your angels can, and people need to understand there's demonic that can actually mimic what people who lived a long time ago, they can appear
really?
as them and convince people they are them. A lot of these, what people say, they would say that they're spirits in houses, that they live in those houses. No angels from heaven are going to live in a house. Okay. If
Yeah.
they're on assignment for you, with you, they would be there. But most of those other familiar spirits are not on God's side.
You know,
So
I was good. My mom, 15 years ago, give or take, she was doing Bible studies, and she would prepare on these little programs to talk about the Bible studies. And she ended up like in the big airport at Chicago, as I recall. And she saw these neighbors of hers or friends of hers, and they call her out, Frida. And she says, I'm so glad you're here. I don't know what you're doing here, but could you help me get these out to the car, the taxi probably? And they helped her load it in there. So a few weeks later, she's back in her town in Lancaster, and she runs across these same friends. She says, I can't even believe you were there to help me out. And they go, what are you talking about? She says, when you helped me out in Chicago. She goes, we were never in Chicago, Frida. So two angels appeared to her as these friends, right? Is that?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So they took that form. That's just like it makes me crack up with delight that they would decide that let's go play dress up. I'll be him and you be her.
I think they have to have permission. I think she's probably given that assignment, God knowing she would need help at that time. And she may not take it from a stranger, but if it was somebody she recognized, and she would, of course, like she did, she of course said, yes, please, I need help. And I think that happens to people more often than not.
Yeah. Boy, and that's going to be fun someday to see that replay back.
Well,
okay, here's
a statement. I need to add one little thing here because
oh yes, please do.
The angel of the Lord looks like the Lord,
but it's not the Lord.
It's his own angel. He has his own angel. Of course, he would have angels. He had, it talks about angels in the garden, but he had other angels assigned to him when he was here. But when you hear people say the angel of the Lord, that is his angel. And I guess some people couldn't tell the difference between the angel and what Christ, unless you, of course, got really close, you probably could. And now the angel of the Lord doesn't have marks on him, like he wouldn't have the scars, he wouldn't have that.
Right.
But I think his general appearance could be pretty close to what
wow.
Jesus looks like.
That's interesting.
So
these
are things, I love the mysteries where people never discuss. They just say them and go past them. But those are actual real things. And if you have revelation, I always think it's great to share it. So I do know that sometimes when people thought it was Jesus and maybe he sent a message, but it was so important for whatever reason, he couldn't come himself. And people go, how could he not do that? There's a lot of things he's involved in himself. Personally, what he's doing for the Father, he'll send his own angel to give that message because it's that important to him.